morning, students. I believe that each one of you is enjoying a lot nowadays. My suggestion is stay home, be careful, be alert, and practice social distancing. Now let us start solubility of a solute. So let us define solubility. It's a very simple definition. In lower class, even you have learned a lot about solubility. So here again, we are going to define solubility, the maximum amount of a solute that can be dissolved in a given amount of solvent, generally 100 grams, at a given temperature. Solubility, again I'm repeating, the solubility of a solute is the maximum amount of the solute that can be dissolved in a given amount of solvent, generally 100 grams, at the given temperature. So usually solubility is expressed in a percentage. Now there are many factors which affect solubility directly. Number one is nature of the solute. The students, you know that some solutes are polar, some solutes are non-polar. So there is a very important phrase that like dissolves like. The very simple meaning of this phrase is when polar solutes are put in polar solvent, they can pass easily, they can dissolve easily. For example, when NaCl is put into water, you know well that NaCl is an ionic solid, so it is highly soluble in polar solvent like water. So this is the very simple meaning of like dissolves like. On the other hand, we see these ionic solutes have very poor solubility in non-polar solvents like CCl4, CH2, etc. On the other hand, non-polar solutes like iodine, sulfur, or organic compounds, which are more soluble in non-polar solvents like carbon tetrachloride, carbon disulfide, etc. But they are almost insoluble in polar solvents like water. The second factor is nature of the solvent. So for this point, you can cite the same example. You can write the same example. When ionic solutes are put into a particular solvent, and if solvent is polar in nature, then ionic solute can pass easily into the solution. The third factor is temperature of this solution. Temperature is a very important factor which affects the solubility of a solute. If the solubility of a particular solute is exothermic in nature, means after dissolution, certain amount of heat is given out, then according to Le-Chatelier principle, when temperature is rising, the solubility of the solute decreases. So for this, you can take the help of Le-Chatelier principle in detail. Only then you can explain how the solubility of an exothermic solution decreases. Because when you write solute plus solvent, reversible sign, solution plus heat, heat is written on the right hand side of the equation. That is, heat is given out, exothermic. And in that case, if you are some amount of heat is you are giving from outside to the solution, in that case, the rise in temperature will be minimized by left hand side part of the equation. That is the solute part of the equation. So obviously, equilibrium will shift towards left. So as a result, solubility of the solute decreases. Similarly, if the solution of the solute in a particular solvent is endothermic, in that case, if you are giving temperature from outside, then solubility of this solute increases in accordance with the Le-Chatelier principle. The very important, what is the role of temperature in the solubility of a solute is the highly important. So you must be aware about this. You have already learned in detail about Le-Chatelier principle in class 11. The next factor is pressure. Dear students, you know that pressure has no effect at all in the solubility of solids in liquids. It is because solids and liquids are highly incompressible and practically remain unaffected by change in pressure. On the other hand, pressure plays a vital role in the solubility of the gas. So as far as solubility of the gas is concerned, a separate law is given to us that is very important for this year board examination, and the law is known as Henry's law. But before the start of Henry's law, we must know what is saturated, unsaturated solution, and what is dissolution, what is crystallization. These all are some small terms that should be known to us. As far as dissolution is concerned, very simple meaning is passing of solute into the solution is known as dissolution of the solute. Some solute particle in solution collide with the solid solute particles and get separated out of the solution. This process is known as crystallization. Now, what is saturated solution? Saturated solution is, I believe that known to each one of you, you have learned a lot in lower standard. Even though I would like to draw your attention towards saturated and unsaturated solution, very simple and popular definition of saturated solution is when more solute can be dissolved, in a particular solution at the given temperature, the solution is known as unsaturated solution. Again, I repeat, when more solute is dissolved in a given solution, the solution is known as unsaturated solution. On the other hand, no more solute can be dissolved in a solution at the given temperature, then the solution is known as saturated solution. Another definition of saturated solution is also given in NCERT. The solution which is in dynamic equilibrium with undissolved solute, it is known as saturated solution. And in this stage, an equilibrium is established. That is, we can say, at the dynamic equilibrium, there is a dynamic equilibrium between undissolved solute and saturated solution. So this is all about your saturated and unsaturated solution. So thank you. Next day, we will start next topic that is highly important for our board examination, that is Henry's law. So be ready for that. And my suggestion is to start doing problems given in NCERT related with solubility and factors affecting solubility of solid and gaseous solutes. Thank you again. कितना मिनट का हो गया?